Hello and welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be talking about Hyperia at Thorpe Park, which has actually officially opened for about one day on its opening day, and obviously the preview night the night before, and then since then it has been shut. Now obviously it is very unfortunate that Hyperia is shut, presumably for maintenance, so very early in its sort of operating life, but obviously Thorpe Park have stated that Hyperia might not be able to open until at the very earliest Wednesday or Thursday next week, because obviously they're having to sort out some kind of maintenance issue or technical issue with the ride. We don't exactly know what it is, but obviously they're trying to compensate for any sort of inconvenience by, well, they were handing out like free return tickets for, because originally they said it was just going to be closed for the 25th of May, and they were originally planning to open it basically back up today, but and they were saying that, oh, if you've booked for today, the 25th, you can get a return ticket for the next day. But obviously since it's now closed until Wednesday or Thursday, I'm not sure how they're doing that, but obviously you can kind of understand it, because obviously on opening day it operated for 14 plus hours, which is a very long time. It operated from about 10 AM until that morning until basically just midnight. Not to mention all the hours it ran for on the preview night, literally the day before. So, plus it's a brand new ride, you can understand these teething problems and these technical issues that it's going to face with early on in its life, so it is kind of understandable. But that's not what we're talking about in today's video. What we're talking about today is how Pleasure Beach Resort are going to actually respond and react to Hyperia's opening. But obviously, even though it's a very brief opening, but I digress, because obviously now that Hyperia has officially opened, it has taken the record from the big one at Pleasure Beach Resort as the UK's tallest roller coaster, which is a record that Pleasure Beach had kept for about 30 years this year. And obviously ever since Hyperia was first announced as Project Exodus back in December 2021, that it was going to be the UK's tallest roller coaster, Pleasure Beach have not really been happy about it, because obviously they've had the record for so long, and to see it taken by them by a rival park, they're a bit disheartened by it, to be honest. They're a bit angry, literally. And obviously we knew that, obviously, well, I mean, like they've been posting like a few like banter comments on like the social medias. Like I remember like when Hyperia was first originally announced in December 21, they like posted like comments saying, "Excuse me, how dare you? You are taking our record for the UK's tallest coaster." So obviously it was all just like sort of a bit of fun and like a bit of banter at the start, and then obviously on Hyperia's opening day this year, this is where their sort of envy peaked, really, because on opening day for Hyperia this year, like literally just this past Friday, a like a lorry with LED screens on all sides on the back was actually sent by Pleasure Beach Resort down to the sort of Thorpe Park. It was basically circling around Thorpe Park with screens on it saying, "We'll just have to think of something else then, won't we? Book tickets now to ride the UK's second tallest coaster." And things like, "Building a roller coaster 1 foot taller than ours, how petty." But like, I mean, literally, they've had that record, that UK's tallest coaster record, for 30 years now. I think it's fair to just let somebody else have it. They've had it for a long time. They've become very famous because of this ride, because of the big one. I think it's had its time. It's now time to let another rides have that record. So in fact, it's actually Pleasure Beach Resort themselves that are being very petty by basically just displaying their jealousy towards Thorpe Park and Hyperia. So obviously it was actually pretty funny. I wasn't there on opening day, but obviously people who were actually going to Thorpe Park on that day did actually spot this lorry circling around Thorpe Park. So if you have actually seen it, then you're very lucky. I don't know where that is now, whether it still is. I think it was just for opening day, but it was just so funny, because like this is just how they're going to respond to it, rather than obviously investing in plans. Literally a Pleasure Beach response to it, rather than like putting plans forward to build a ride taller than Hyperia, which I don't know how to do that, but instead of doing anything like that, they're just like basically just circling a lorry around Thorpe Park saying, "Oh, how petty of you to build a ride taller than ours." But like, it's just so funny, honestly. But like, obviously now that, so they sort of have already sort of reacted to it, but how will they continue to react to it? Will they Will they just think, no, we cannot have this, we must build a ride taller than this? Like, obviously, there was actually a joke post they put on social media last year when Big One was down for maintenance saying, oh, brand new for 2023, we're actually making the Big One 2 foot taller to keep the record of the UK's tallest coaster. Because bearing in mind, Pleasure Beach Resort, they don't actually measure the Big One by its actual height, they measure it by its sea level height rather than its ground level height. So obviously from sea level, the Big One is 235 foot tall, but from actual ground height it's 213 foot tall. So even though they're saying, oh, how petty of you to build a roller coaster 1 foot taller than ours, it's not. Hyperia is literally 23 foot taller than the Big One, so it's not just like a slight height increase, it is a pretty big height increase, or a pretty decent sized height increase, so it's not even that petty, to be honest. But in all seriousness though, are Pleasure Beach actually like motivated enough to actually build a brand new ride taller than Hyperia? Will they, to be honest? I don't know. I mean, there was this rumoured like months before Hyperia opens that Pleasure Beach Resort were actually going to revive the plans for the bigger one roller coaster. Now, if you don't know what the bigger one is, basically it was a roller coaster that they had originally planned back in the early 2000s that was basically going to take back their record of the world's tallest roller coaster. And it was pretty much just like the King of the Car / Top Thrill Dragster / Stealth type layout, where it's a intimate accelerator coaster that has a hydraulic launch to about 100 odd miles an hour, up a huge top hat, back down, and then into a little hill maybe, and then the ride's over. So it's pretty much just one of them, except the weird thing is about it is that the actual top hat part of it was actually going to extend outside of the park and onto like over that road and onto this like little pavement bit. It sounded ridiculous, but they even got as far as building what is said to be the concrete foundations for this ride, and those concrete foundations are still there to this day. You can even see it on Google Maps here. Whether they'll revive those plans, I don't know. It's clear that they will have had some kind of like way of thinking about how that was going to go, because obviously it is outside the park, but they will have had a way around that. But whether they'll revive those plans literally just to beat Hyperia or every other roller coaster in the world if they want, we don't know, we'll have to see. But obviously, how long it'll be before Hyperia's record is broken, I don't know. It could be only a couple of years, it could be another 30 years, we don't know. But either way, Hyperia has finally opened, and even though it's obviously currently down for maintenance, I hope to see it open again within the next few days, and I cannot wait to ride this thing in October. Like literally, so many people who have ridden it on the preview night on an opening day, literally the majority have said it is the UK's best coaster. I'm not even joking. So many people have said it's the UK's best roller coaster, even better than stuff like Nemesis Reborn, the Smiler, Icon, and other attractions in the UK as well. Obviously I haven't been on it yet, but I'm going to go on it in October for Fright Night, so I'll judge it then, and I'll give you my honest opinions on what I think of Hyperia. So I want to thank you all very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, then please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment if you would like to see in the next video. Goodbye.